Hey friends. Oops. Here we go. Bump on the camera. I am recording this Tuesday night. My Wednesday is going to be kind of crazy. I'm going to crochet on the baby blanket. That's just my progress thus far. Gotten a little bit in there. This is going to be kind of a different video because, as I had mentioned in Tuesday's video, I didn't have any whips to show you except for this one that's sitting in my lap that I'm working on right now. It's finally cooled down enough to crochet. But what I wanted to talk to you about is what took place on this day in 2001. For us, we had just moved to California in August of 2001. We got stationed out here at Naval Base Ventura County. And we were living on base. So it's, you know, we had to go off base if we wanted anything more than the commissary or the exchange. There was a McDonald's on the base and a little bit of a food court in the exchange. But if we wanted, like, Kmart was around at the time, or a Walmart or a Target, or you know, just like another grocery store besides like the commissary, then we had to go off base. So we had not even been in California an entire month when the events of 9/11 took place. And it was about, it was early. It was early. I was still asleep. My husband was getting ready for work. He had just come off of sea duty, and we were on shore duty. And I remember him coming in and telling me that we were at war. I didn't know what he meant. I got up and I looked at the news on the television. The place that we had just been to for our honeymoon in 1999, June of 1999, no, sorry, May of 1999. It was the end of May. It's Memorial Day weekend. We had gone to New York City for our honeymoon. At the time of 9/11, we had just found out we were pregnant with our youngest daughter. And the only thing going through my head was, how can we bring a child into this world when our country is at war like it is? We had a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. We did not know what was going to happen to my husband. We didn't know if they were going to deploy him again. The hardest thing is having to explain to a 1.5-year-old and a 3-year-old why there are armored tanker trucks driving up and down your street in front of your house with weapons drawn. The base was locked down. We could not leave unless it was an emergency. I don't remember how long the restrictions went on, but even once they did open it up so we could leave the base, it was much more restricted. But that entire day, I was terrified. I was alone. I just had my kids. My husband was at work trying to figure out what was going on. I kept calling my best friend at work. Every, like, what seemed like 5 minutes, I was calling her at work. I was terrified. This was before I fully committed my life to Christ. I was still that Christian on the outside looking in through a frosted window. To think of all the lives that were lost on that day. I can't bring myself to go back to New York City. I cannot bring myself to go to the memorial. The Reagan Library here in Simi Valley, California, not too far from where we live, has a steel beam in there from the World Trade Centers. That was tough. That was tough. You know, people say that the events of a few years ago are the worst events that they've ever been through. They must not have been here yet for 9/11, because I will tell you that is the worst thing I have ever gone through in my life. It was hard. Not letting the kids go out to play. Couldn't let them go out in the backyard and play. It was unsafe. Not having any family. My closest family was all the way up in Michigan. My father-in-law was 2 hours to the south of us. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law were 2 states to the north of us. It was just me and the kids and my husband. I had no idea what our future held. We just never know, friends. You just never know. I know it's easier said than done, but we always need to be ready. We need to make sure. We need to make sure we are right with the Lord. You know, that's one thing we'll never know right now, how many of those people were right with the Lord. What we do know is many, many families were forever ripped apart. I don't know what else to say. I will try and attach the pictures from our honeymoon at the end of this video. You know, we had nothing when him and I got married. We had no money. We wanted a honeymoon. We only had a couple of days because our sitter could only watch my oldest daughter for the weekend. So we got a campsite and a KOA in Brandywine, Pennsylvania. We slept in a tent on the most uncomfortable gravel ground. It was like the last campsite available. We went through DC, walked around. We did our entire honeymoon on about $200. That was gas, food, lodging. Actually, it might have been a little bit more. It might have been about $300, but we drove to New York City, spent the day, drove back to Brandywine, spent the night, drove back to Virginia Beach. And that was our honeymoon. We stood in the basement of the Twin Towers, walked around. There was little shops down there. There was a Sbarro's pizzeria. I was 21. No, was I 21? I think I was. I'm sorry. It's been a long, long night. I did this wrong. I was 22. Yeah.
I just realized.
All right. So, yeah, I was 22 when we got married and went on our honeymoon. And we moved out here to California. I was 24 years old. I have worked with children through the Awana program at my former church. Part of my testimony that I would give each year as part of a Bible lesson talked about 9/11. And then I realized many of those kids did not know what 9/11 was, and trying to explain that to 3rd through 6th graders. That was definitely the most terrifying time in my life as a young mother. Just starting out. We'd only been married a few years at that point. And then not knowing if my husband was going to get called away. And if he did, if he would even come home. I will tell you, friends, being the wife of a military member, police officer, firefighter, any department of emergency response, it's not easy. I have a very desperate cat back here with me. See if I can Sorry you saw the potty chair, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know why he wants to go in that bathroom so bad. I think he really misses Toby. And Toby's been gone for a couple of months now with his new family. But yeah, back to the whole being a military wife or wife of a firefighter, police officer. Any of that, I'm going to tell you, is not for the faint of heart. I knew when we got married what I was signing up for. I knew the risks involved, but I was all in. I was just as much in that Navy as he was. Anyways, friends, baby, he's not here, okay? I'm sorry. I know you miss your buddy. So, anyways, friends, like I said, definitely a different kind of video today. Be praying for those families. Take a moment of silence in the morning. Distractions. Anyways, friends, yes, please take a moment of silence tomorrow. Pray for the loved ones. Pray for the communities. I'm going to let you all go. I'm going to get this video uploaded for Wednesday. It is now 11:04 p.m. on Tuesday night. I'm going to get this video edited and then uploaded. Like I said, I will try and add those pictures at the end. Anyways, friends, remember, please, to be kind to one another. God loves you. I love you. And I will see you on Thursday for a video on yarn comparisons. Bye, friends.